Famous 20th century poet T.S. Eliot once wrote, "Now dogs pretend they like to fight. They often bark, more seldom bite. But yet a dog is, on the whole, what you would call a simple soul." Canines not only provide wonderful companionship, but on the homestead, dogs can be a valuable partner in protecting the animals under one's care. In this video, I make the long journey to Vermont to meet the guardians of Goldshaw Farm and see firsthand the loving, big-fanged beasts and the fowl they protect.
I am on my way to Vermont to see Morgan Gold of Goldshaw Farm. Sadly, I'm stuck at a train right now, and I'm a little concerned about the time. But that does give me a minute to talk to you guys. That was the end of the train. Thank goodness. Here we go. I'm excited for this trip for a few different reasons. One, I've never been to Vermont, and it's one of those places that I'm really interested in checking out, like Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. I'm also very much looking forward to meeting Morgan in person. Morgan is a master storyteller and just a really cool guy, and I'm looking forward to getting to know him better. I'm also very much looking forward to filming the content that we are going to create together. That's going to be pretty cool. One thing that kind of stinks about the trip, though, is it's kind of a haul getting to Vermont and Idaho.
The flight to Minneapolis and finally Connecticut were unremarkable. Everything went without a hitch. It's 12:25 a.m. and I just made it to the hotel room. There's a faint smell, well, a little bit more than faint smell of marijuana in there. My luggage, which has some gear in it, and then that crate with all the gear in it, obviously all arrived safely. I was concerned that the baggage would get delayed and I wouldn't have it for filming, but it all came off the plane just fine. I'm gonna get ready for bed tomorrow morning. We're getting a rental car and making the drive up to Vermont. That was the worst night of sleep I've had in a long time. A lot of noises and disruption. Hopefully I'll be able to catch up on sleep tonight. I gotta go get that rental car now though and get breakfast. I headed north after getting the rental car and stopped in Springfield, Massachusetts for breakfast at Memo's Diner. "30 minutes later, I was back on the road, resuming the drive up to Vermont. I've been on this interstate for a little while now, and I probably will be for another hour and a half or so, just cruising north for Vermont. Getting to see the small, classic New England towns was a real treat. I thought my Idaho towns were small, but these Vermont towns are really small. This one near Goldshaw Farm looked like towns I've seen in old movies. I later came to learn that the adjacent town was actually used in a few Hollywood productions set in New England.
The new minister!
This cute little town didn't have any cell phone coverage. My GPS on my phone consequently stopped working, and I was a bit concerned I wouldn't be able to find my host. We are getting close, but I have no cell service, no GPS. But yeah, that looks pretty familiar. I'd say this is it. Good thing I know what it looks like. I gotta put these winter boots on before I can get out of the car, really.
Goldshaw Farm, we are a duck, goose, cattle, and tree farm here in northern Vermont. About 5 years ago, moved up here to northern Vermont with my wife. And we started this farm and we document what we do here on our farm and tell the story, whether it's on YouTube or TikTok or Facebook or wherever.
Vic, can you tell the audience a little bit about what our filming project is?
Absolutely. So I'm really excited to be working with Abundance Plus, and we're going to be making actually 2 videos. One is like a documentary talking about the story of livestock guardian dogs on our farm. Here we actually have 2 dogs, Toby dog and Abby dog, and they are very different personalities. And the lessons I learned as a dog trainer, as I compare and contrast those 2 dogs, is what the story's all about. The second thing is actually I take all of those hard lessons learned that I've learned over the years and try to distill it down into like one masterclass. And I'll tell you guys, I'm really nervous about doing this masterclass because I've never done anything like this. But I know we got Dan here, so this should be a fun couple of days.
And I know just from talking with you, part of your reservation is you don't want to come off like you know everything and everyone should do everything your way. How are you kind of getting over that for this video?
Well, I mean, I just don't think I'm an expert and don't ever want to portray myself as such. But there's like this fine line you have to walk between like, hey, this is a stupid thing I did and now I don't do it, and here's how I benefited from that lesson. And if other people can benefit from it as well, I feel like it's like doing good in the world.
Excuse me, Pablo, I need the baling twine back, please.
Come on, buddy.
Come here, Pops. Come here. Come here. Now, even though he's a barn cat, he still likes to play like a house cat sometimes.
After getting settled in, I set up my gear in Morgan's office for filming the masterclass. I brought 2 camera rigs as well as an audio and lighting package. I think we got everything dialed in just right and looking good for the class.
We're not seeing your lap, so if you want to keep those notes in your lap.
No, because I move around so much when I talk,
Okay.
and like it'll be awkward and not balanced. Sorry. Is there a way to have this?
Yeah.
'Cause I will kick that over and over again.
We'll do it like this, and then...
Hi, I'm Morgan Gold, and welcome to this masterclass talking about livestock guardian dogs. I'm really excited to spend some time with you guys today and talk about livestock guardian dogs and why I think they're such an important resource for farms and homesteads. I'll be giving you an overview of the different types of livestock guardian dogs that are here, and we're going to dive deep in terms of thinking about how to train and get your livestock guardian dog ready to be the protector for your farm.
After we finished filming the class, a local photographer stopped by to get some farm pictures, so Morgan gave us a tour.
And he can be actually led with a halter and moved around, because as he gets bigger, that's when I got to be careful. So I'm spending a lot of time training this baby bull to be a good boy. You know, he's a sweet one. Belinda Carlisle, who's one of the heifers born on our farm. You got Bonnie McMurray. You got Bonnie's mom, Ariel. If they're a first generation cow on our farm, they get an A name. If they're a second generation, you get B. If Belinda Carlisle here and Randy Macho Man Savage, who's our bull, have a baby, that baby would have a C name because it's the 3rd generation. So for each generation, my goal is I want to get to Z. I want to see if I can be around and doing this long enough that I get to Z. That's the goal.
How does it work with Randy being an R?
My steers all get dead rock star names. So we had Jimi Hendrix, who was born here last year. We had Joey Ramone, who was born here last year. They both get dead rock star names. I went with Randy Macho Man Savage for a bull just because, I don't know, I think it's a funny name for a bull. And I like to call him Macho Man.
Abby, what are you doing? I really hit it off with the dogs, Abby and Toby. After barking at me when we first met, they warmed up to me quickly and we became fast friends. Sometimes it was difficult filming with them because every time I crouched down to get low-angle shots, they would come over to visit with me and pretty much ruin the shot.
Here's the different types of eggs that we have, right? So there's a normal old chicken egg. Here's a duck egg. And so you think about the size comparison of these two, right? Like, you know, it's a little bit bigger. Then you got the goose egg, which, you know, compared to the duck egg, or even the chicken egg, without dropping, pretty incredible, right? These are Americana eggs. So like it's a certain breed of chicken, lays these like bluish eggs, which are kind of cool. And then these are Cayuga duck eggs. So you see these black eggs, They start out, when they first start laying for the season, and particularly like their first eggs ever, like I think this is actually one of my young Cayuga ducks. She just laid this and it was her first egg ever. As like the weeks and months go on, they get lighter and lighter in color until they turn like just a light gray.
As stated earlier, I'm also filming for a documentary on Morgan and his dogs, which we'll be releasing on Abundance Plus in late May. There is a link in the description for a 7-day trial for Abundance Plus or 10% off your membership with the listed coupon code. On my last day there, Morgan took me to Littleton, New Hampshire for lunch and a walk downtown. It was an extra bonus for me to be able to check off one more state I visited on my list.
Come on. You guys ready to greet your birds? Huh? Yeah? Morning, birds! How's everybody doing? All of the chicken scraps are safe for dogs, chickens, geese, and ducks. The dogs usually get first pick, and then the chickens tend to get second pick, and then the geese get third pick, and then the ducks are always the last ones in charge. Isn't that right, ladies? So one of the hardest things about having ducks, geese, and chickens all living together is that your ducks are going to be so much more likely to like drop an egg in a random spot. And then your chickens are going to come along and start to eat the eggs. And so, for example, I have this egg shell that I just found right over here as I'm collecting eggs, and that was clearly some chicken damage. Isn't that right, Abs?
Abby, no, leave it, leave it. She took off with the eggshell. I was trying to get the shot.
There you go.
Here's the eggshell we were talking about.
Abby snagged it for a minute.
That was an unexpected plot twist there, Abby.
Abby, did you just get bit by that goose? So we'll say right now is peak goose aggression season on the farm. So a couple of our ganders, particularly this one Toulouse gander, seems like he's got it in for everybody. Me, he's tried to attack Dan, he's tried to attack Toby, but the animal that he's been giving the most grief to has been
Going from Pacific to Eastern time, then getting up at dawn each day in the Eastern time zone, and then filming all day for 3 days, is pretty exhausting, but it was a good trip. We made beautiful films, I deepened my friendship with Morgan, and I bonded with the guardians of Goldshaw Farm.